Hey guys, welcome to the Sophisticated Scoundrel. Tonight I'm drinking some Tenjaku, which is my go-to beverage, and it's a great whiskey to sip on when you want something just to chill out and relax to. Today I'm going to talk about growing up in dysfunctional families, because I think a lot of guys out there have had this experience. You've grown up maybe in a family that has addiction, and that could be alcoholism, drug abuse, gambling, even infidelity. Or this one isn't as commonly talked about, but just growing up in a family where somebody is consistently needing to be taken care of. So if your father was a deadbeat or kind of weak and your mother was always trying to fix him, or vice versa. If your mother was a total train wreck and your dad was always doing whatever he could just to please her and make her feel better, these are all things that are going to put you in a really difficult position when you get older, when you get into a relationship. And you may even see these effects when you're a kid. I'm speaking about this because I've gone through these similar things when I grew up. And the thing about growing up in a family that has some sort of addiction or dysfunction is that it teaches us to be very comfortable with being uncomfortable. And what do I mean by this? Well, we tend to seek out relationships that are just not fulfilling. I mean, even male friendships, not just girls and romance, but male friendships with maybe men who they don't treat us like good friends. Maybe those guys are very self-centered. They just talk about themselves. They never ask how you're doing. They don't really care about you. And you consistently feel like, hey, let me try to get this guy to smile or turn his life around. Or, if I do this or that, maybe he'll, throw me some love or show me some appreciation. And this can also, of course, show up in romantic relationships with women. So you'll chase after women who don't give you affection or love or treat you how you desire to be treated. And the reason why we chase after people like this is because it's very comfortable for us. It's what we're used to. When you grow up in a dysfunctional family, especially with parents who have addictions, you are continuously looking after them. You're making sure that their needs are met. So for example, if you have a parent who is an alcoholic, you were probably consistently doing things to make sure you were on your best behavior to make sure they didn't drink. Or that parent was potentially always in a bad mood, so you would always be finding yourself being on your best behavior. Maybe you were an overachiever in hopes that, hey, if I get good grades, maybe this will make mom happy or this will make dad happy and maybe she'll show me some love. So you get so used to that pattern of trying to be on your best behavior for other people when you're a child, and those other people being your parents, that when you become older, when you start to interact with women or even just having male friendships, you start to do the same thing. And you get frustrated by it. It's never fun to feel like you're always getting into relationships with people who make you feel like shit. But the thing is that that's what you're used to. You've never experienced something that's fulfilling emotionally, or you've never gotten love from a mother or father. You don't know what it's like for someone to say, hey, I love you, great job, attaboy, way to go, I'm so proud of you. You've never experienced that. So even if you meet someone who would treat you like that, it would feel so awkward and so uncomfortable that you would most likely push that person away. You would not even gravitate towards them. Let's say you were at a party or just a room full of people. You're going to gravitate towards what you're used to. And so you're probably going to find the one girl or the guy there that is a bit cold, a bit distant, a guy that you think you can help or fix, a girl that you think you could help or fix or be a savior to. Those are the types of people that you're naturally going to go to. And then when you get into a relationship with them, you're going to complain because they're not fulfilling that part of you that actually wants love and affection and warmth and kindness. So if you've grown up in a house like this, you have to be very aware if you keep experiencing problems in relationships where you either the person that you're with doesn't love you in the way that you want, or the vice versa is the same too. You might be treating them in a very cold way. Like if there's a girl that really likes you, is really sweet to you, you might be pushing her away because, again, that's so uncomfortable for you to have someone who loves you, who actually is affectionate, who actually cares for you. And you might be trying to keep her at arm's distance because for you, intimacy is a foreign concept and experiencing it might freak you out a little bit. So how many of you guys out there have experienced this? I just see it so often with guys who grow up in families that have this problem, if their parents were just cold or emotionless or had some sort of addiction. So how do you get over this? Like, what do you actually need to do to get over this? Well, it starts with yourself. And I remember when I was going through my own stuff, I went to something called Codependence Anonymous, which is a group that works with trying to overcome those behaviors of having to feel the need that you need to fix people or help them, you know what I mean? And so in order to do that, you have to, first of all, deal with yourself. And you have to look at, why do I have the need to be with people who treat me a certain way or who make me feel a certain way? And that way is usually negative. Because once you can identify that and figure out the root of that, then you can start to slowly change. So 9 times out of 10, it's because of family issues. So you have to get comfortable then with realizing that, hey, I can't change anybody else and I can only change myself. And the more you work on yourself, the more, like, let's say you're in a relationship with someone who isn't treating you good and you pay attention to that and you say, hey, you know what, this is just, I don't like this. And instead of trying to bend yourself into a pretzel and fix it and really try to like solve it and get her to love you, or get that friend of yours to really like you, instead of doing that and trying so hard to change that, you're gonna now pay attention to that feeling and be like, you know what, this isn't working for me, so I'm actually gonna walk away. And when you start to treat yourself with a little bit more self-respect, people who then make you feel shitty are going to become very unattractive, and you're going to not want to be around those people because you're now going to become used to treating yourself with much more higher regard and respect. When you do this for long enough, you'll eventually start to be more attracted to people who are much more healthy and who treat you well. And the people that you used to be attracted to, the ones that were the fixer-uppers and the ones that made you feel like shit, they're going to become very unattractive. So it takes work and it takes time because you're having to reprogram yourself to get over those past patterns and whatever it is that you're used to growing up as a kid. Like, just imagine if you're a 25-year-old, 30-year-old guy, you've been used to this for 30 years. That's a long time to be used to this type of behavior. But if you really want to get out of that and experience much more fulfilling relationships, much more intimacy with whatever men or women, whether it be a friendship or something romantic, then you do have to start working on this to break free from those patterns of being around people who treat you like shit. So I hope this gives you a little bit of insight into, if you keep running into these shitty relationships, whether it be with friends or with romantic relationships with girls, I hope this sheds some light into why you're doing what you're doing. So if you guys have any questions about this, of course, feel free to comment down below. And if you'd like some more intimate, more one-on-one, in-depth coaching, I also offer that. And you can also find those links down below. We'll see you in the next one.